Looking for the latest comic book to add to your collection? How about the last card for that Magic the Gathering Commander deck? Well, the comic book store's got you covered. Shop online at comicbookstore.tcgplayerpro.com or come in person at 30 North Main Street, Glassboro, New Jersey. Hey, pizza people, welcome back. We've got an exciting top 8 for you today. We've got the Slice of Standard. Commentary by OhOneNine and Hamhocks42. It was a pretty awesome event overall. If you'd like to know more about what happened in the event, the deck list, anything like that, there's going to be a link in the description below for all that information, including all the content from the commentators and myself included, so please check that out and enjoy the video.
Well, other than the Theros and the Thronable Drain days, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Or that first week after Zendikar dropped, where it was just like, our
Oh,
top 8 is 8
yeah,
Omnath decks. Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another part that's kind of got me a little bit unhappy currently with I don't know how much Explorer you play, but Explorer is pretty much just turning into uh Explorer is pretty much just turning into a reprint of Omnath Power over and over piles. Just
Yep.
run Yorion and run 80 cards of rare or mythic rarity, and you're good.
I actually do play a fair amount of Explorer, and I find, yeah, Omnath value piles and it's Omnath value piles and Agent of Treachery, like Flicker
Yeah.
reanimator stuff, which I think doesn't win as often as people want, so it's not going to be around for very long. I don't think. I think some people are just dusting off old cards they haven't got to play with in a while. Um, but yeah, Omnath is definitely a big one. Also,
It
Greed continues to be pretty popular in at least on the ladder that when I go, when I'm playing Explorer.
I do see, yeah, and yeah, I've been seeing a lot of it. A lot of mono green. I don't know that the power level is quite there.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, it's still very potent. One thing I also want to mention about Is It Giants, is I want to plug another
excellent.
kind of like fun deck, is it also has access to Prismari Command, which is another great
Ooh,
card that was not around, I believe, at that time, because it went Kaldheim and then Harry Potter set, and then yeah, right? So at the time
yes,
when Giants were around, it didn't immediately have access, but now afterward, it has both. So it has all the hand fixing that you could ask for in Is It. So yeah, now I really got the gears turning now on this Is It
excellent.
Giants deck. I'm gonna have to revisit it.
I love it. All right, so now Delaware Pikachu has, speaking of Prismari Command, there it is in hand, and they have
Hmm.
the opportunity to get rid of the ninja here before it attacks, which I
Yeah,
think is very meaningful because if you do that, then Kaito, well, or you could just blast Kaito. That's also an option. Um,
yeah, yeah. That's interesting because do you care if you leave a 1/1 unblockable on the board for a long time? Not really. Uh,
yeah,
norm
you don't
normally.
love it, but I think the Planeswalker is much more impactful.
Yeah, but I do also acknowledge you were saying, of course, I think
Yeah.
you were going to say the fact that getting rid of it pre-combat denies it the draw, turns the
Yes.
just draw into a draw and discard.
Yeah,
Um,
and the difference between drawing a card and looting a card, very different.
yeah,
Both have their place. Both are
even
good.
though Esper does a great job and typically really wants to mill through its deck, looting itself,
Mhm.
a million times over, still preferred.
All right. And in that situation, Delaware Pikachu had the option of countering the wedding announcement with a negate. However, by saving their treasures, they were able to hang on and cast a Titan of Industry,
Wow.
which has the opportunity to destroy the wedding announcement.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, again,
be pretty good.
I've been proven once again that I shouldn't. My judgment would have been to, oh yeah, wedding announcement's a very good card. Let's obviously counter that.
Yeah,
But
that
he
would have been my
saw,
thought too. Yeah, it's like, oh, you ripped the negate here, no question. It's like, well, no,
no,
there was a question here. Yeah, let's look at our options. And
yeah,
sure enough, Delaware Pikachu knew exactly what to do, lined it up perfectly, got some massive power on the board,
hmm.
and eliminated the threat of that wedding
You know,
announcement.
that's
Yeah,
why we're commentating and we're not in the top 8 hand.
100%. Yeah, no, exactly. That's why I'm behind the booth, or yeah, that's why I'm in the booth because yeah, I'll own this. Yeah, I'll absolutely own that.
So has the opportunity to loot twice here with expressive iteration. Could be the line. Depends on what he pulls here. Um, yeah, just such an amazing card. It's effectively it's as close to brainstorm as we have accessible here in standard with all the cards you get to see. Um, I wonder
Yeah,
what he.
absolutely. I mean, it's the closest that you get to 2 mana draw two.
Yeah,
It's that it's not quite 2 mana draw two, but man, it feels like it.
It
Um,
definitely feels like, and it lets you cycle away cards you don't want. That's the other aspect to it is it does a little bit of oh wow, has the negate. He's
and
got answers for everything.
and Pikachu, like, before the Wanderer even showed up, they grabbed the negate and were hovering over the battlefield, just
Exactly.
ready to rip it because they knew exactly what was about to happen.
Well, if you're walking into 5 open mana, 2 of which are white, I mean, nowadays Wanderer, you almost have to expect it.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you got to be ready for it. It's just part of the deal. Yeah, and I think it's actually really fascinating too that cards like Titan of Industry, Wandering Emperor, Fable the Mirror Breaker, Meathook Massacre even aren't leaving with rotation. Like it feels like
Yeah.
they became staples in standard immediately.
Hmm.
And maybe not Titan of Industry, but I know I love that card and enough people play it. It's still around. Calling it a staple might be saying a bit much, but well, here we
I
are.
mean, it kind of
It's
is. I
yeah.
mean, as you're seeing here, it's effectively an Is It deck that's splashing green to play Titan. We talked about the fact that typically splashing for triple color is absurd.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's able to do it here. There's so much treasure generation. It's funny how keywords kind of come in and out, go in and out of favor with wizards. Treasure was kind of on the out with Ixalan, right?
Mhm.
After Ixalan, it was obvious. The whole theme there was, vampires on a on a remote island with dinosaurs and all other manner of silliness. But yeah,
Mhm.
the fact that treasure kind of went away and came back, it really has accelerated the game significantly. And
Oh,
pausing
absolutely.
here, wow, okay, gonna take the 7. I I struggle to see. I mean, a meat hook. He's not going to have enough mana to clear a meat hook to get rid of Titan here. He could be holding the Vanishing Burst, but if he did, he would have used it there before taking damage.
Right.
I don't know what Sir Hamilton's going to be able to pull on the top here to correct this. Like I said, meat hook is not going to do it. Blinking there.
Yep. Fading
Uh,
Hope is gonna
that's another move
effectively
that
kill
I
that ninja.
wow. So that's
Yeah.
another move I would not have done. Okay, yeah, and I'm the same there. I hold the hall on top because if he is able to, oh wow, choose not to.
Ooh,
I
okay.
was gonna, I was gonna say because if he does resolve a sweeper, you have that big 7/7 hex. Okay, there you go. You get again. He's in the top 8, and I'm not, folks. So
Right. Yeah.
okay, can't counter with the Jawari because he does have the 1 mana open to pay for it.
Yep.
Um, interesting.
There's the Fading Hope, so
He could
that
have
Fortune
his
can get bounced. That's something. Or if there is a sweeper, Pikachu has the ability to bounce the Titan back to hand, but they don't have a third green mana for it. Oh, never mind. They have one in hand. That pathway can turn green. So
right, right. He's got another. Yeah, he's got the Krag.
yep, yep.
So Obscura has lifelink here. Do you? No, you have no. You have to
Yeah, you
hold
have to keep
that.
it back to block. There isn't
Wow.
an option.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
he okay.
There's the
So
Vanishing Verse.
okay. So did he? I'm so confused now. Did he top deck it?
Maybe.
Because
Yeah.
he had to have top decked it, right?
Yeah, they must have, because yeah, prior to damage would have been the correct time, I thought,
Right.
to rip that. Obscure Interceptor. Okay.
Okay. He
Getting some
gets
work done.
flips that on green as the
Yep.
perfect mana. Man, Delaware Pikachu, buy a lottery card. I always say that to my I I always say that to my screen uh, about whenever my opponent top decks something perfect like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Found
Yeah.
found the 3rd mana to flip to naturally resolve Titan into open blue mana. Delaware
Right? Yeah, what were
Pikachu,
the odds?
Delaware, Delaware Pikachu, buy a lottery card, pal, because you are hitting it. You are hitting every single one of them right now.
Absolutely. Wow.
Wow, that's
Yeah, this is I mean, the Obscure Interceptor did a good job of bringing Sir Hamilton back into this, and had the Vanishing Verse stuck, this would be a very different game. But,
right.
the patience for oh, there it is. Okay, that one stuck.
Okay. He top decked another one, or he's been much more judicious in holding them than I would have. Is
Mhm.
able to hold back the Obscura here, who again has lifelink and 5 power, so can trade with one of the rhinos if he elects. Um, has to expect Delaware to have a counter in hand, which he does. Doesn't have the ability to during upkeep hit the or at the end step hit the memory deluge. Playing it next turn will leave him with not a ton of options. No artifact to sacrifice for Voltaic Surge here. Just hard cast the Memory Deluge main and see what you get.
Yep. Hoping for, well, Fading Hope will do the
Oh
job.
my gosh. Okay, well, there's all of it. There's the card. There's 3
Yep.
of the 4 cards. If I was about to say, if I were to choose, really doesn't go with the dragon. I mean, I guess he has enough power on the ground that he's not too worried about it. Flicker the okay, but then he'll be able to replay it.
True.
But he actually, you know what? He could flicker it and then hold up Jawari to counter it if he attempts to replay.
True.
And then he's got it. That's the line I would take. Excuse me, flicker. Fading Hope the Initiate, hold up Jawari so that he attempts to replay it, attack for 8 damage. He's dead. Right?
Yep. It looks like Pikachu sees it. Yep.
Okay, he sees the line.
All
Yeah,
right.
okay. I was wondering if he had the counter. If he had the counter there, he would have it, but hell has the Jawari up. SirHamilton probably going to go for it. Last ditch effort here. Going to try to replay.
What you got to do,
okay.
but here comes the Jawari Disruption.
Jeez.
Perfectly timed.
Wow.
Yep. Wow. That was a heck of a game.
Okay, so let's see here. Sideboard. I honestly, if I'm with the way that Delaware was able to dismantle his entire game plan there, yeah, exactly. Pull out the Voltaic Surges. I would pull out the Voltaic Surges and leave it at that. Torch Breath does what for us? X damage. It's a payoff, I guess. If you want more top end payoff to dump all your mana into.
Yeah, that's fine, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, a turn 5 Titan of Industry. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
tough,
what are you
tough
gonna do?
to contend with.
It's just tough to contend with, exactly. And that's exactly what happened there. That's
It's a great list.
Yeah, this is actually really, really solid. And one of the things that I really enjoy about control lists like this, there is early disruption. You can slow your opponent down, but if you can get to turn 5, all of a sudden Goldspan is coming out, Titan of Industry is coming out, and it turns very quickly. I mean, this is kind of my what I see as kind of more of a classic control list, where it's like slow things down, hit your finishers, end the game. And
Sure.
it's something that you see somewhat. I know a lot of I know a lot of people, like in my chat, when I'm streaming, a lot of people will say like things like, "Oh, I hate playing against control." It's like, do you really hate playing against like control? I think there are a lot of decks out there that are just 30 sweepers with a Hall of the
Right.
Storm Giants.
Yeah.
Like, that's not really control. That's its own thing. I guess,
Yeah. Cards that I think what people really hate, and everyone just doesn't necessarily want to say it just out loud, is they hate running into decks that run 16 counters, 8 sweepers, and 4 Teferis. And that their whole game plan is to just you resolve nothing. If you do sneak something in, you get a sweeper. And then Teferi is so busted, and it just provides so much value that it's a single card win condition. And people don't like it. Again, you might argue that, well, Azorius Control is interactive. You're countering spells. I think people's frustration with it is all of the, again, it's the circle, right? It's control. Control manages combo. Combo manages aggro, and aggro beats control. Right? It's a circle,
that's
right?
the traditional.
Yeah, it's fair. But I think they see that as being, oh wow, held that. See,
held it with no red. That's interesting.
Held it exactly. That's my thought there. No red source. That's a good. I mean, the Jawari is another blue source, but of course he top decks it. Okay,
Rockville the top. There it is.
Oh my god!
Exactly the way DelawarePikachu wrote it up.
I'm telling you right now, if I were live streaming and this was my opponent, I would be screaming it. I would be
right.
I always say, like I said, I always say buy a lottery card is what I say. Buy a lottery card opponent, because golly,
no,
that's can do nothing wrong.
Yeah, but no, I'm right there with you. It's not control. Like typical control is things like this that we're seeing here, where they do counter early, but they have their own game plan that they're trying to establish. But yeah, it's decks that are designed, and you're right. Teferi is definitely the Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. The 5-drop Teferi is like, it is just the lockout planeswalker. Like it's the best at what it does, and it's it's crazy too, because it's a card that doesn't deal any damage. It doesn't. But you're right. It is a win condition. If it sticks around long enough, it's just your game is over. You no longer play the game. And yeah, I think that leaves a lot of bad, for aggro or combo players. Like that's very frustrating to go up against.
Well,
Absolutely.
and if you're a Timmy, right? If you're new to the game and
Hmm.
you everything, we've all been there. You're new to the game, and so what are you drawn to? You're drawn to big dumb dinosaurs and
Yep.
green creatures and stuff like that. That's what intrigues you. So uh, when you are facing an opponent and you're early on in the game and you're kind of finding your footing, and the first thing they do is they deny you the ability to even play your big dumb dinosaur, and you have
Hmm.
enough mana to do so, and you're like, okay, I finally made it. I've got 6 mana and I can play my 6/6 trample, and then they counter it. It's a backbreaker, and it
Oh
really
yeah.
makes you. That's the turning point for new players to Magic, where they finally begin to understand that having the biggest creature on the board is not necessarily a guarantee that you're going to win or that you're even going to get close to winning.
Absolutely, because yeah, and you're absolutely right, man. These duresses from Sir Hamilton are pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Your hand hate is one of the best ways to deal with counter spells because you
Yeah.
either get them to spend their counter spells or you remove their counter spells.
I had mentioned in the beginning that I think the color wheel that I really the side that I always focus on. I've always been a mono black player. I'll say when I started playing, one of the first decks I ever made, and I still have it to this day, is Necropotence and Pestilence.
Nice.
Mono black just lock you out of the game, and that was kind of relatively early on. But oh wow, does he? You got to counter this,
I
right?
mean, you have to,
Yeah,
right? The
yeah,
counters are just sitting in your hand. You got to use them. Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, and so like you said, discard, Thoughtseize, Duress, all
Yep.
the other different ways of doing it is absolutely the best I got you against a control player because they cannot beat the value of a 1 mana Thoughtseize turn
Hmm.
one. I find the card that you want the most. And I get it out of there, or the card that accelerates you to where you want to be. It's also a good way of disrupting combo. Again, we were talking Explorer. Right
Yep.
now, there's so many 80 card Yorion piles of just good stuff and concedes there. Delaware Pikachu, the damage really did begin to pile up there. You can see
Hmm.
why that Esper list is not to be taken lightly. It looked like Delaware was had the right answers, the right time, top deck that red source right in time to play EI back on his turn, but just not enough. Only has the 7 creatures in his entire list here, and sometimes just not having enough bodies to put in front of those kind of nuisance little 2/2s and 3
Yep.
twos. It builds up eventually.
It does. Well, in Luminarch Aspirant too, the biggest benefit that Sir Hamilton had in that match is that the Luminarch Aspirant is a 2-drop. So it snuck in under the counters.
Right.
Before Delaware Pikachu had any way to counter it, it hit the board and they didn't happen to draw into any removal or bounce spells.
Sure.
So it just stayed on the board, got one bigger every single turn, and you know, we saw, we saw a situation where Delaware Pikachu was using counter spells to get rid of the tenacious underdog that was trying to blitz out of the graveyard. And the main reason for that is yes, it prevents 3 damage, but also it denies a card draw.
Right.
And so that I feel like makes sense. That's almost a 2-for-1. And in that situation, Sir Hamilton spent the life. So it makes sense. But at the end of the day, the Luminarch Aspirant was just a little unassuming 2-drop
Mhm.
that just carried the game.
Yeah, getting underneath, obviously, nothing groundbreaking there for people to understand. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Kept an opener, 3 lands and 4 counters. That's wild. That is
Yeah.
absolutely wild. I mean, now he has enough. So now that Luminarch Aspirant is going to get countered,
Yep.
and Sir Hamilton knows it. Okay, this is why Tenacious is so great, right? And
Yep.
why it sees so much use, if not main board, at least a 2 of in the sideboard. Is the way you dodge control
Hmm.
is you have this ability to. I'm going to use the phrase unearth.
Yeah.
I'm going to show my age here and say unearth,
I
but
love it.
really
Yeah.
it's any way to resolve something from the graveyard that they can't interact with is just. I mean, that's how you get underneath, and that's how you get around counters.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it's when you counter a tenacious underdog, like you're probably preventing 6 damage, but the thing's going to be coming back and smacking you later.
Yep.
Like it's going to happen. There's no question.
Right.
So yeah, you do have to spend if you're going to prevent the tenacious underdog from doing its thing. You either need to pressure your opponent's life total so they don't have the life to spend to bring it back, or you need to have some kind of graveyard hate, um, or you need to spend multiple counters. I mean, none of those are really great feelings. It's not a not an ideal spot to be in.
And the breakout, the 2 damage penalty for playing him from the graveyard, which I think he's going to do right here, doesn't plays the
Ooh,
okay. Sees the fact that
yep,
no blue is open and took it. That's the correct line.
yep,
That is
100%.
that's saw that there was no blue open to counter. He has a handful of counters. Sir Hamilton knows it. So playing around that is great here. No cards to play. Getting awfully close to resolving Titan here, though. He has another green source in hand, so he's going to be able to play that here. Plays around the counter. So is he okay? Okay.
All right.
Does he?
Yeah, you'd have to spend
Yeah, you gonna? Yeah. Do you spend
counters.
2? I think you could spend 2.
I mean,
Rafine is
Rafine's worth
enough
it.
of a
Yeah.
threat. Doesn't have the ability to use the casualty. No creatures on board. But again, this deck, as we mentioned, only runs 7 creatures. So pretty rare that he's going to be able to use the casualty effect on Make Disappear.
Right.
Interesting, by the way. What do you think is the rationale for him utilizing Make Disappear? I've kind of wondered that the efficiency of using as opposed to other counter spells in a deck that's primarily composed of just instants. Okay, there's the
Ooh,
battle.
Battle Frost and Fire.
I
Nothing
was
wrong with
actually
that.
just about to say that we have yet to see that card resolved in the game. He has 3 of in the deck. Do you really use it now? Yeah, you
I
probably use
mean,
it
I think it
now.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Well, and then the next mode, you're gonna get a chance to scry
yeah,
3, if I'm not mistaken, which is a
yeah.
big deal.
It's a big
Um,
scry. Yeah, you'll scry to the 7th land to be able to resolve Titan.
yeah, that's impressive. But the rationale behind Make Disappear, would you compare it to other 2-mana counter spells that are legal in the format? You have like Reject from
Mm-hmm.
Strixhaven, which can only target creatures
Test of
unless they pay
talents.
3. I'm sorry.
Test of talent. Test
Test
of
of Talents,
talents,
yep,
which
which
is
can only
only
target instants and sorceries. You have
right.
Negate, you have Disdainful Stroke. They all have these limitations on what they can
Sure,
target.
sure.
Make Disappear can target any spell.
That's true, and
So
I
I
mean
think
that's why
that's the
straight
big
up double
appeal.
blue just counter spell is not legal in any of the formats. Is for that
Yes.
reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which I don't know about you, but back in, back when I was first starting the game, I did have a number. I got a number of counter spells as like, in some of my early interaction. I tried to be the blue mage for a minute there. Um,
I just can't do it. I
yeah,
can't do
it was a different vibe.
it.
I started with mono green stompy. That was where I started.
Everybody does.
Right? Yeah, it's either white wing or mono green stompy. It's just where you
Right,
go.
right, right.
Yeah, no, so I was all about just big dumb green stuff. And it feels, yeah, attacking with, 5/5/6/6 tramplers, it feels good. It does. You
It
feel
does feel
powerful.
good.
So I see the appeal. But yeah, no, I did it was funny actually. My mono blue attempts back in the day. My game ender was Bribery. I don't know if you played much
Bribery.
with that
Oh
card.
my gosh, what a callback.
It's
Let me
3
dig this
blue
up.
blue.
Uh-huh.
You choose an opponent and you get to search their library for a creature and put it into play under your control.
Oh my gosh.
It's so much fun.
Bribery.
You take your opponent's best thing. It was brutal. Yeah.
Legal and modern. Wow.
Wait, it is?
You
Oh
should
yeah, sure it was. Yeah, because it was reprinted in 8th edition. Yeah, okay.
legal and modern. I cannot believe it. I vaguely remember that.
Yeah,
Wow.
but people just generally don't run, but if you're going up against somebody who's running very few or very bad creatures, you're not
Okay,
getting particularly good value.
that's true. That would be great right here. If Sir Hamilton had a bribery, that would be excellent right now.
Amazing. Sir Hamilton would love that. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of which, Delaware Pikachu grabs another Titan of Industry off the top. I think he's hesitant to play into the counter here. Not sure how many Hamilton has in his hand currently. He also did draw the Torch Breath, which would, as we had talked about, was kind of a way to, if you have a ton of mana, you can dump into something. This is a great opportunity to do that. Holds up not resolving Titan. I'll tell you what, I don't have the same discipline. I definitely would have tried to smash it there. And if I eat a counter, fine by me.
Especially knowing that you're going to draw another one.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Particularly because you have another one.
Right.
It also has reach, so it blocks Rafine. Does he go Torch Face here? Is it creature? Oh, it's creature or planeswalker. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Only pays the 4. Again, does he have the? He has 4. He has 4 mana with 2 wide open. Sir Hamilton here could resolve another Wandering and go +1/+1 first strike on it, and then it would make Torch, right?
Yeah, that would Rafine
Okay.
would survive. Yes.
Didn't have it, but you see what I'm saying? He had. I would have gone. Why not pay 5? You already have a ton of mana, anyways. pay the 5, and then it guarantees that it's going to clear it. I always overpay in those situations because, why not?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I can't tell you how many times where a meat hook for 3 would have been fine, but it's like, nope, I'm gonna pay 5 on this one just in case. Like, I'm just gonna, yeah. But also, one of the benefits of waiting until the third chapter of Battle Frost and Fire to cast out the Titan was you get that trigger where you get to draw 2 cards and discard
Yeah.
one.
And he
So,
just drew the 3 best cards in this matchup right now. We knew the other Titan was on top. That was not a surprise. Goldspan is the only other one of the only other creatures he's got in this deck. So he's already seen 3 or 4 of the 6 or 7 creatures he has. So he's seen most of them. And then the unlicensed Hearse, if he does get the opportunity to resolve it next turn, is be able to eat up that Tenacious to deny the continual 3 damage beat. But the 4/4 token still a real deal here. Esper doesn't have a lot of things that clear 4 toughness
mhm.
in their deck at all. So that's gonna be tough. What he doesn't know is that Delaware found another Titan, which is just gonna be brutal here because I imagine it's gonna eat away that wedding invitation.
Absolutely. Well, and that's one of the things that makes the Titan of Industry so impressive is even if you have a kill spell to deal with it, it already provided a ton of value to the board.
Yes.
You
And
know,
I
and
do yeah.
that's exactly what happened there. Like gain 5 life, put a 4/4 on board. And in a matchup like this, a 4/4 can carry the game. You know, we saw it the last game where Luminarch Aspirin, granted it was a what 7/7 8/8 by the time it was over.
Mhm.
Still, you know, a creature with one decent body is sometimes all it takes in a control matchup like this
Sure.
to get through and not be answered.
I
And yeah.
actually one of the great things about and I love we were talking very early on here at kind of the top of the broadcast about Bant, Blink, and Historic and how much fun you can have with that.
Mhm.
One of the other elements of it that we actually do have is standard legal is Teleportation Circle is a
Yes.
4 cost white enchantment. And I have a deck. It's not particularly great, I'll admit, but I have a deck that actually runs a set of Titan of Industry and Gallagreeters and
Mhm.
the innkeeper guy
Yep.
and it's a rotation of infinite value because at the end of your turn, oh, and Asika's chariot and everything
Excellent.
because
Do you have
teleportation,
Skyclave Apparition in there by chance?
Skyclave Apparition, and I believe everyone like the Elite Spellbinder as well. So
Oh yeah.
all of
That's
these Selesnya ETB effects, just mega value as Delaware Pikachu swings in for a big 12 damage here. Sir Hamilton's going to have to chump, and barring a sweeper, should be game here. Unlicensed might put the nail in the coffin. No more value from Tenacious. Does he do it? Yeah, okay. I was about to say, do it now.
yep.
Do it
Yeah, I would not wait
now.
on that.
Um, so much value there. That teleportation circle is a lot of fun. It again, is it entirely competitive? No, but it
No,
is
but it's
fun.
delightful. Yeah. Well, it's one of those like so many great jank decks, right? When it fires, it feels untouchable, but only fires 20-30% of the time. Yeah.
Right, right.
So it's just not consistent enough to, to make it in a competitive environment like this. But yeah, Sir Hamilton sees the writing on the wall. Those
Yeah,
Titans were just too much to deal with. And the hearse showed up exactly when it needed to.
great game.
Um, yeah, Delaware Pikachu just taking it down. It's not
Instant Speed
bad, right?
Divination is not bad at
Yeah.
all. But really, the only one that I see any play is the Grixis one. I don't know about you, um, but it does seem. I mean, any card. Kind of the point I'm getting at here. Any card that has an or statement in it. As
Mhm.
we move on to the next game here, Big Goon holding a very aggressive hand. Again,
Wow.
I I maybe maybe I just don't have the cojones to hold something like that. But I see in your hand a total of 18 CMC, and you have 2.5 lands.
Yeah.
So
No,
uh,
I'm that's the kind of thing where when I see that fanned out in front of me on the client, it's like that's an
no,
easy mull. Like
that's
it
an
is an
easy
easy
mull.
mulligan, no question.
Well, you
Like
found another.
I'm shipping this all
Yeah,
day, not even thinking anything of it, and not even playing the Jawari Disruption out as a land. Instead, electing to keep it up as a spell.
I mean, maybe he's relying on the top deck of EI. I will say, before I return to the bit about
Yeah.
or statements, I was going to say that, oh, wow, okay, finds another alt land here. Yeah, that's the right
Hey.
choice. I was going
Okay.
to say, yeah. Anyway, going back to what I was going to say about or statements and why Titan of Industry has been so dominant that we've seen in the tournament so far today. Um, any card like the charms that have or statements are sometimes like falsely titillizing. You see
Hmm.
them and you think more options is intrinsically better. In some cases, it is. I'm a huge fan, for example, of Charming Prince.
Oh yeah, card's great. Yeah.
Fantastic card, and it fits perfectly into my whole Orzhov Doom Foretold
Yep.
flicker shell that I love to. It's if I have a pet deck, it's absolutely that. And one of the things where like I know it's bad, but I refuse to acknowledge it publicly.
I'm right there with you. Yeah. I've gone on record about my reanimator decks very much the same way. It's like I know they're
I
not competitive, but I don't care. I'm going
I
to
don't
keep playing
care.
them. Yeah.
I think I remember watching you play that reanimator deck.
Yeah. No, and I'll come up with 2 or 3 different variants. I don't care. I'm going to keep playing reanimator. Is it a good strategy? No, not yet, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep trying.
it's got
Yeah.
a 40% win rate, but I could care less.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. So he pulled. Wow. So started with a 2-lander in the opener, a 2.5-lander, I'll say, with the Jawari, and then has pulled successive land drops here. I'm gonna take a look at his list, but I believe he only runs 25 lands. So
Wow.
very, very lucky on the top deck here. This is where this is where my complaints would normally be rendered, where I'd be like, "Wizards, the lands, why
Right.
always?" But then again, I also would never keep a hand like that. Double
Yeah.
Hinata, double Goldspan with 2 lands. I mean, that's bold.
It is bold, absolutely. No, I would have mulled that easy, like we mentioned. And unfortunately, we had a situation where last turn they were not able to play out Hinata because they didn't have a white source.
Sure.
So while they are drawing lands, they're not drawing all the colors that they need, unfortunately. But Goldspan Dragon can solve that problem next turn potentially. That said, it looks like Kelvandil is going to leave some blue mana open of their own.
Yeah, absolutely. This is I have a sneaky suspicion this is going to be one of those games where both players are going to be on their game timer. Um,
Mm-hmm. I think you might be on
I
something
will
there.
say as much flack as Wizards gets, and most of it deserved.
Sure.
I will say that the addition of a more aggressive timer is very welcome.
Yes, I'm kind of agree with that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because there was a
in
minute there where
yeah,
yeah, actually,
particularly
yeah.
particularly with the oh, help me with the 3 white book that you can make a creature.
Oh, the Book of Exalted Deeds. Yeah, the Book of Exalted Deeds, like Faceless Haven combo.
For a very brief time kind of ran it as a joke to see what it was like, and it you want to talk about sodium. The when you face I got to like negative 1800 life, and the guy just refused. He had the cleric class combo, and he was gaining so much life, and the triggers were so stacked that I had to do the old what is it, like shift enter, control shift enter, whatever, and just pass turn permanently forever. And it was just a matter of who's going to mill, but it doesn't matter because you can't lose the game regardless.
Yeah, so even if you mill, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So that make disappear is great there.
Mhm.
So far, Kelv has resolved 2 spells. He resolved the Reckoner and the Fabled with 1 mana open, fully expecting Big Goon to have the Jawari, which he did. So twice Kelv was able to dodge the counters, but not that time. And actually,
Yep.
now Big Goon is able to hold a Jawari. Although with 6 mana, he'll be able, if he does have another gold spin, he will be able to resolve it.
Yeah, absolutely. So here comes another Fable, which is going to produce a Goblin Shaman the Kiki Jiki can immediately copy, which is pretty good. That's one of the things about the Fable and the Mirror Breaker. It even combos with itself.
It's so bad. It's again we've said it I think about 3 times so far today. But if a card sees immediate play in legacy
Mhm.
in eternal formats in a set that was just printed, you've got yourself a very uh, powerful card there.
Absolutely. Yeah, the fact yes. And I mean with Fable the Mirror Breaker, actually what I'm curious, like what legacy decks or modern decks are playing that right now? I'm not surprised because
Hmm.
when I play Explorer, I see it all the time. Um, so I'm not surprised that its influence goes further back than that.
Well, we're seeing it's more variants of kind of what you're seeing here. It's more Jeskai control, but they've also have access to things like um, more efficient counters, cheaper counters. They also have a lot more things. You know, they have like Flicker, Spellcaster, and they have a bunch of
Okay.
different. They have a bunch of different ways of just abusing the fact that Fable is so good at doing many things. It immediately makes a token creature. So even if on the face of it, a 3 mana 2/2 with an upside that's creating a treasure for you, very good value. And then in the second, you get to see 2 more cards, which again, anytime you're able to do like a Scry 2, Scry 3, Ponder, or
Mhm.
Preordain or Brainstorm,
It's all helpful.
the
Yep.
staples of everything that runs blue, of course, in Modern Legacy. Um, and then eventually at the end, of course, the Kiki Jiki portion. That's one of those things, you know, the old phrase "bolt the bird," where if you
Mm-hmm.
see a Birds of Paradise, no question asked, you always bolt it. Don't even think about it, just do it. It's the same thing with the Kiki Jiki, because if you let them untap after that thing has resolved summoning sickness, it's going to hurt you some way.
Oh yeah. Well, and the other crazy thing about it is when you say think of that old adage of bolt the bird, the goblin
Hmm.
shaman that it
Sure,
produces is very
absolutely.
much the same way. Like it's going to produce mana if you leave it,
Yeah.
you know, if you leave it out there. So you need to do something. Um, so it's kind of crazy that that one card for 3 mana produces 2 must answer threats.
Yes.
Yeah, it's something else.
Yeah,
Um,
and even we were talking again about the shell can operate in. Interesting attack here.
Yep. Well, it produces a treasure token, so I can appreciate that. And now with Kelvandil having a Hinata of their own, they're canceling each other out effectively at this point.
Right. Oh, okay. So, oh, yeah, I mean, makes sense. I mean, I think Big Goon is less concerned about this because he has another in his hand.
Hmm.
Still holding up 4 mana though. He could have, an up. Okay, maybe not.
Hmm.
Does he go with another gold spin here? I would. I like
Yeah, I think
this.
I would too.
I like this. If he has to burn some depending on what the counter is, force him to burn treasure with the Jawari is even not well. At this point, there's so much mana. Jawari's value becomes less and less over time. That's a
Yep.
no-brainer. But here, if he has to pay the 2 off the lands, and then you could Jawari to force him to drop one of the counters, is there value there? I don't know, but uh,
There might be something to it. We'll see.
maybe something to it. The fact that he was willing to commit the attack to make the treasure with his token. Uh,
Hmm.
Also, of course, he had the direct damage that he was trying to kind of quote unquote trick, even though it was kind of a transparent attack into Hinata. Still, I think it was worthwhile. So on 12 here, 8 is a legitimate swing. Um, and then because of all the treasure that's created and the fact that it's double with gold span, Big Goon effectively has infinite mana. It'd actually be
Right.
great with both of these decks, and I'm just seeing all throughout this tournament here, with all of the insane mana generation, something like a fireball effect,
Oh my
uh,
goodness. Yes.
X. If you had imagine if was it Banefire? Yeah, Banefire. Imagine if Banefire was still legal in standard, because immediately you sideboard that in. If you're up against a control
Hmm.
match like this, if X is 5 or greater, it can't be countered. You just go face, and then
Yeah.
I
Actually, you know
mean,
what though? While Banefire isn't legal, there is actually a card in Midnight Hunt that is legal that
oh
can do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Light up the night.
light up the night. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
light up the night.
Yeah,
Deals X damage to any target. It deals X plus 1 instead of the creature if it's a creature planeswalker you're targeting, but it's just X and red.
yeah,
Like
and you can
it
actually
yeah.
you can pay with loyalty too, something like that.
Yep, you can flash it back from your graveyard but by paying loyalty counters on planeswalkers to
Sh-
deal additional damage, which
Sure.
it adds some complexity and I think it's easy to get. I know I've had a couple of decks that run it actually. And in decks that are capable of producing like insane mana combos, and it's a fun finisher. Like when you pull
Sure.
it off, it feels great, and it's very much it feels like that old Banefire.
Yeah.
Banefire to the face is very much what it feels like because it's kind of exactly what you're doing. Like it's easy to get hung up on the flashback, but the truth is, it's still just X damage and red.
Sure. Yeah.
Crackle with Power is another good one, but it's a little more.
A little more
It's got
complicated to
triple
get
X in
going.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Big Goon there, after the response, there was a little bit of exchange. Magma was able to render some damage, was able to snap off the other Goldspan and the Pocket Hinata after he had lost it to the 2/2 token from the prior turn. Kelv definitely on the back foot here, although he has 5 cards in hand and effectively infinite mana. So I'm wondering, though, how much removal he has to deal with this. Um, okay, there's one.
If Vulture to get rid of Hinata, that makes good sense. And Jawar Disruption would
Pretty
be.
much pointless at this
Yep.
point.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
honestly just play it as a land. That way you can activate
Hmm.
hit the activated land next turn. Uh, keep a card in hand. Always keep your opponent unsure. That's the whole thing. That's another unfortunate Timmy move when you're new to the game is every single land you see you play. Like if you have no point, if there's
Hmm.
no point in playing a land, right? If you already
Right.
have 5, 6, 7, whatever your magic number is to be able to play all your stuff, why not just keep that 2/1 or 2, depending on how flooded you're getting. Just keep it in your hand. It doesn't hurt.
Absolutely.
Prismari can do 2 damage here, which is still not enough. So even if he blocks with Hinata and one of the gold spans gets through, he can still only deal 2 damage with Prismari, assuming it, of course, resolves, which will put him at 1. And then the swing back may be lethal. I like that. I like what he's looking at there, activating the land. It does have... Okay, wow.
Yeah, the issue with the land is that there is the 1/1 pilot that can step in front of it, which is a bit of an issue.
Make him make the decision here. This is
Yeah.
probably the right choice. He may also have another pocket Hinata. I assume he does. He's seen a lot of cards. I believe this is the first one that Kelv has played so far. Do you Prismari command the Kiki Jiki now? I say yes.
Yeah, I think you Prismari command the Kiki Jiki, dump the Jawari disruption, and draw something else.
I like that.
That's my
that one.
thought. Yeah. See what you're drawn to, because if yeah, exactly. There it is. Yeah, draw 2, then discard 2. So yeah, that Jawari disruption is definitely hitting the bricks at this point. Again, assuming the Prismari command resolves, which does not.
yeah.
Ouch.
Yep. That might, ironically, despite the fact that Kelv is only at 3 health, that might be enough.
Right?
Because the swing back here is going to be potent.
Yeah, I'm counting 11 damage, because if you create a copy of the 4/4, you use the pilot to crew the Bank Buster, that's 12 damage coming
And
through.
he can activate the 7/7 Ward 3 in response as a defender. Has to burn up some of the treasure, which he
Yep.
may or may not want to do, because I don't see a white source.
Yeah, that's accurate.
He's got to burn. He has to consider how much he wants to burn up if he does want to have a slim chance of top decking another Hinata. He's already played 2 and lost 2. Makes a token of the Reckoner here.
Which is going to enter as a vehicle so that they can
Has to
draw a
crew
card.
it.
Interesting.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. I continue to be amazed at the lines that I fail to see from these Jeskai and Izzet control players. I mean,
Right?
a lot of it's familiarity with your deck, right? Just playing the same thing over and over, and you eventually see some things that I definitely would not have. I would have again copied the 4/4 and gone face, but I get tunnel vision at times.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And at the end of the day, what that would have done is it would have dealt a good amount of damage to Big Goon, but it wouldn't be lethal. At the end of the day, if Kelvandil does not have a way to prevent that Goldspan Dragon from punching his face next turn, it's over. So Kelvandil is doing everything in their power to just make sure they can answer the Goldspan Dragon.
Right.
And by
That's
not
true.
attacking, they're also leaving up answers for the Hall of Storm Giants as well.
Okay. Or nothing matters.
Or nothing matters. That is an
Oh
option
my
as well.
gosh. Okay. Goes. All right. So Ward 3. He has enough
Yep.
mana if he does have the spot removal. I don't know what removal. Again, like Fateful Absence, maybe. I don't know how many. He could pay the ward. He's taking 4 in the air unless he has. Okay. So there's Otawara.
Otawara.
Can chump the. Damn it. He can't replay it either.
Yep.
Oh man. Had he.
Yeah, if you're gonna play the Opus, you got to do it now.
Oh my goodness.
Goon chooses not to.
Had he played? Oh, okay, now he can.
Now, okay. Oh, no, he can't play the
becomes
Magma Opus, but he
target of-
could replay the Goldspan Dragon.
Well, there's that again. There's where that third ability that got scrubbed with alchemy is very impactful here. So now if he burns all this treasure, wow. See, if he burns all the treasure and then top decks a Hinata, he can't play it.
That would be pretty brutal. Yeah.
Because again, still no white source for Big Goon.
And with Goldspan Dragon having haste, I can appreciate sitting tight, because at this point, Goon could even play out the Goldspan Dragon.
Yeah.
Double up all the treasures, then use the treasures to activate the Hall of Storm Giant.
True.
So that's a line that they could end up taking.
Surprised. I'm surprised today we haven't seen hardly any use of Fateful Absence. Maybe is that removal so? Is the investigate so bad that people are not using it anymore?
That's a good question. I never thought that it was that big of an issue. I understand handing your opponent a card is not ideal, but to be able to remove a creature or a planeswalker for 2, I feel like is definitely worth it.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that's not.
We did see okay, so there's a white source. He likes that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does he have more pocket removal here?
That is the question.
He can choose to activate the land again, which I don't know.
Yeah,
I
Goldspan
I
resolves and it
oh,
connects.
doesn't have it.
Okay.
Okay, that's only game 1. So we had
Holy
mentioned
cow.
that was game 1. I can't imagine these guys are going to be on their timer for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah. I'll be shocked if we don't see the timers pop up. Um,
Wow, just
yeah,
so much value.
which is not terribly surprising. I mean, we're seeing 2 controlling decks that have very powerful engines with really good removal and counter spells
So
duking it
there
out. And both players know exactly what the threats are and what to
yeah,
aim for.
down the Dragonfire. I was about to say we haven't seen any use of Fateful, but we have seen some use of the Valorants, including a few games ago making one of the gold spans indestructible.
Mhm.
Again, another card like we had mentioned earlier, or statements. Or statements are very appealing and deservedly so. There, I would not have dropped that many copies. He's loading up with counters and removal here. I
Yep.
would not have gone down to 1 Hanada. I think that's too low.
I
As you
was going
s
to comment on that because that seems very aggressive. I mean, it's not every day that you see the namesake of the deck
sure.
being sideboarded out.
Yep.
That's just
Well,
you don't see that every day. But the Magma Opuses also came out, so it's I mean the plan in this game is apparently the gold span beats. That is
mhm,
the you prevent your opponent do as many 1-for-1 counters and removals as you can get your hands on,
right.
and then be the one who sticks the gold span. That's
Yeah.
looks like that's the name of the game here, and I can appreciate that. I mean, that's okay. But yeah, I would have at least kept 2 Hinatas in
I would
myself.
have kept at least 2. Yeah, because
Mhm.
he already lost 2 in that prior game. He had granted he did have 1 in hand, so the trade that he made on one of them was kind of with the understanding that he could resolve a second one. Of course, the legend rule and all that.
Right.
Um, this opener is very appealing. Yeah,
Yep.
I
I
like
was about
that.
to say you want to keep you want plenty of removal and counters. I mean, you got it. That's
There's test of talents. I wonder what you hold the test of talents for here. There's an argument that you save it for magma, but can you hold it up that long? You could also save it for make disappear if that's the kind of the mirror match that we're going to see here. It's
yeah.
just you could also go value. You could say if you could hold it for EI. So if on this turn Kelvis attempts to resolve EI, knocking out all 4 of them with tested talents would be brutal, brutal.
Absolutely.
Because that card is, as we mentioned, so insane.
It really is. All right, so that's a Magma Opus being treasure cycled. There's Express
There it is.
Iteration.
Yeah, see,
Big One sees it. Yep.
absolutely,
That's
absolutely. That's
huge.
a no, and you get a look at their hand. Take a look at his deck. I would take a look at his. Okay, well, I would see how many Hinatas and Goldspans your opponent boarded out, considering that you boarded out all but 1. Oh man,
Wow. And at this point, Kelvandil,
what a
I mean,
line.
was really counting on that expressive iteration to
Yep,
provide a
it's
land drop. And
it's the right play. I don't blame him at all on that. It's not even really a gutsy play. It is the right line to play. It's just
yeah.
and does he have his own test of talents in there? Do I see that in the top left?
Yeah, it looks like there's a test of talents in hand.
Wow. Oh, that hurts because he could have in response. Okay, there's a Hanada. Oh no, that's right. He has the double from. Okay, let's it resolve.
Interesting. I think I would have ripped the make disappear there.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and now he's got double gold. This is just wild.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
And Dragonfire can take a well. Actually, I can see the appeal. I can see the thought process because Dragonfire can deal with Hinata, but it can't deal with pretty much any of the other cards in Kelvandale's hand. Meanwhile, Make Disappear can prevent the Memory Deluge or the Goldspan Dragon if either of those come up.
This might be
Yeah.
wow. Wow.
My
So
goodness.
so last game took what seemed like 15-20 minutes. This game, what, 2.5 minutes? That
Well,
was
and it came down to 2 key plays that Big Goon had. Spell Pierce, the Reckoner Bankbuster, shuts down 1 card draw engine, and then Test of Talents on the Expressive Iteration, and which you called like a pro, if I may say.
Pizza people, are you enjoying the content? Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. It's free. Hit that bell icon as well. That way, anytime any of our new content comes out, you're able to see it right away. Hey, leave a comment down below as well. Tell us what you're going to play in the next event, or tell us what you're enjoying about the video. Don't forget, check out the description too. We've got tons of great content down below. And on top of that, we're going to have our tournament schedule too. So get in on it. Hope to see you.
Before we jump into this game, before we get going, I do want to say a huge thank you to our sponsor, the comic book store, comicbookstore.tcgplayerpro or !CBS in chat. Please check them out for all of your single needs, all of your all the gaming cardboard that you need to get your hands on, or accessories. Please take a look at their supply and see if they've got what you need, because they're an awesome store. They help us out here at the channel quite a bit, and we'd like to spread some love their way as well. So yeah, please, huge thank you to the comic book store for supporting the channel.
I wanted to echo that as well. Is like I said, being involved in the PizzaBox tournaments here has really reinvigorated my interest in competitive Magic, and I appreciate there's no entry cost for a lot of these, and most of them, if not all of them. And again, yeah, echo that as well. Comic book store and all the other sponsors and folks involved, really appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. And Ham, looking forward to the final here.
Right.
We've seen both of these players today, Vorobey and Big Goon, really just dominate with what they've got. Interested to see if the Jaspara Magda treasure combo that does so well. It's kind of the core of anything that runs red and green, isn't it? If
It
you
really
can,
is, yeah. It's
if
one
you
of
can
those
go,
combos that you see, if you see Jaspar Sentinel on one, I just assume that Magda's gonna show up on two. Well,
and he got it.
let's see what
Oh
happens.
man, oh man, he got it.
Well,
Okay,
and Big Goon
so
keeping a very aggressive hand here. Again, with the 2 Jawari disruptions and the 1 Hengate pathway.
yeah, and goes blue. Goes blue. That's fine actually because he's at the sundown. Um, I don't know. Does he? So what you can do at the end of Vorboy's turn, I assume he's going to hold up Jawari for Magda. Vorboy. Oh, okay. Going to wait till second main here to probably drop the
Okay.
land. No way that he missed him. No way did he keep a one lander.
No, I'm just
Oh
okay.
shoot! No. I'm talking to myself here.
No,
There's
you're
no
fine.
way.
I was just staring and just like, is this gonna click to end step without a land drop? Is that about to happen? Yeah.
All right, there we go. I was just about to say he's probably going to use the discard effect for
Yeah.
Magma there to make the treasure. That's the right line. Now he's a draw away from resolving Hinata, and Vorboy. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, this could be a matchup of counter spells here, depending.
It's possible. So yeah, at this point, Big One has a couple options. They could spend the treasure to hit an expressive iteration, then go the Sundown Pass and try to resolve Fable, or simply pass and keep their mana up. When you have this many counter spells in your hand, I think being patient and holding them back is the right choice, especially with 4 mana available. So if you do get into a counter war, you can have the follow up to end it.
Sure. Yeah.
So I can appreciate that.
Oh, reckless. I like
Yeah, I
this
think that's
list, by the way. This is interesting. I might have to grab this and kind of tinker with it a little bit.
excellent.
This looks fun. It has all the usual suspects. I don't know if you recall when the new set had come out. There was pretty much that card that bypasses the legend rule. Do you remember?
Mirror Box. Yeah.
And it had all the folks you're seeing here. You
Yep.
could ramp into it with Magda, Jaspara, and Reckless, and then the payoffs were people like the new dragons and stuff like that. That kind of core. I guess you could use the word shell. Is still glad to see it here. It's efficient. Going in on blue. Most of the time, you see that on Gruul if it's like going into like werewolves or
Yep.
things like that. But seeing here splash blue, there's the Asika, plays it into the fact that Big Boon no blue open. That's
Yep.
amazing because
Yeah, Big Goon tapped out with a negate and makes it disappear just sitting in hand.
Oh my gosh, that was his only chance too.
Yep.
Get that out, and he knew it, and he didn't even hesitate. Vorboy is playing kind of like I would, just slam cards. Particularly when you see that your opponent is tapped down. I mean, it's a no hesitate there.
Oh yeah, it's what you gotta do. So here
So
comes
now he's got,
Sonata.
yeah,
Alright.
now he's got the. Oh, does he? No, it doesn't attack there. Is he able to drop the make disappear? But the thing is this: if your interaction now is just counters, oh man,
Wow.
okay,
And make
well
disappear is
that's fine. That's fine.
exactly what
But
Goon needed.
the thing is this, it still doesn't resolve the fact that you have an Esika's that's gonna swing for 4, require a trade potentially, else you're just giving him value. Because what a Jeskai player like this does not want to see is a go wide, right? Because all their answers are individual. Now he does have the Frost. Help me here with the name.
Battle
Fire and
Frost and
Ice.
Fire. Yes,
Yeah, he does have that. I think he was mainboarding 3 of them, if I recall.
I believe
So
that's correct. Let
yeah.
me. Uh, actually, no. It looks like that was the other list that we were looking at.
Oh my god. So I don't know that this Hinata deck, does it have any discrete sweepers?
You
I,
know,
I don't think it does.
I'm not seeing it. No, no,
Wow.
not even in the sideboard.
Not even in the sideboard. None of
No, so yeah, Seeker's Chariot is definitely a problem.
now this. So what this could mean though is that, and this is a thing that folks fall for occasionally, is not understanding the difference between ladder competitive decks that are made to get you to Mythic and beyond, and decks that are for tournaments like this, like the PizzaBox Slice of Standard that we're playing right now. And by the way, I'm also seeing here in the chat predictions
Yes.
for who's going to win here in the final here. Big Boon versus Vorboy. But I was going to say the difference between tournament play decks and um oh, he's gonna be able to pay the 2 here. Oh, he's gonna sacrifice. Okay. Okay. Makes it so that he can't tap the Jaspara to pay for it. Okay, so that's
Okay.
now 2 gold spans that have been countered, right?
Yep. That's yeah.
But I was gonna say, yeah, so we are seeing, like we just said, the fact that there are not even in the sideboard any sweepers in a Jeskai deck, to me seems crazy. I guess Doomscar has kind of fallen out of favor because I don't think I've seen that in any list today.
Yeah, which is
Um,
kind of surprising because it's one of the most efficient sweepers out there, isn't it? I mean,
well, being able to pocket it for 2 mana,
mhm.
uh, I think is really was the value, right? Is being able to pocket it for 2 on a turn where you're playing draw go magic is the value there. That's pretty wild here. Okay, he's going for it.
Yeah.
Him being able to now with Kiki Jiki, does it bypass the legend rule? Does it make it a non-legendary?
No, it does
Uh,
not. You aren't able to target
okay,
legendary permanents with Kiki Jiki,
okay,
unfortunately.
it's non-legendary. That's at
Yep.
least I don't want to call it fair because as as we talked about a card printed in oh no, another
Ooh,
Hinata.
that was the last thing Big Goon wanted to see off the
Yep.
top.
And this is why he left that window open to resolve Fable. Big Goon did. I was going to see a bunch of
Hmm.
cards here, but I don't know if any of them are going to help. Uh,
I mean, Dragon's Fire is not.
uh,
You can
it's
deal
not
with the Jaspara
bad.
or one of the cats, but
He might still have lethal here. I was gonna say, I don't know if he has any braids in the sideboard. I don't know again if that's in favor currently for dealing with Asikas. Asikas, of course, when it first, when when it came out with Kaldheim, was like, wow, this card is silly broken.
yep.
It's kind of, it's still, of course, it sees a lot of play, but it's not nearly as much as it used to. I don't know if you're when it first
Oh
came out,
yeah.
it was everywhere.
Oh, it was the thing, absolutely. And it's understandable. It
Yeah.
produces a ton of value, and it's one of those cards. I mean, especially when well, I remember, yeah, when it first came out in Call Time, it was kind of all over the place. It was just a
Hmm.
really good, utility green vehicle. Everybody was running it because if you're just running green aggro, it just fits right in. And then I remember it kind of fell out of favor. It kind of became, it was always around, but it wasn't necessarily a powerhouse in the format until Ren and Seven dropped. And then the moment Ren and
Right.
Seven showed up, Asika's Chariot just became the new hotness.
Right.
Because like, oh, I'm gonna create a 7/7 token. Oh, I'm gonna get 2 of them now. Like, what? Yeah, it got out of hand pretty fast. And that's still a combo that I see people pull off every now and then.
Sure. What do
Yeah.
you think? Yeah. What do you think was the shift that made Ren and Seven less popular? Because it's the same thing. When it came out, it was everywhere, and
Hmm.
I was kind of excited because it was almost like a renaissance of landfall decks, and I love landfall's great. Uh,
Yeah,
oh,
it's a lot of fun.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
Shatterspell
there.
Smashing can get rid of Hanada. Now, notably, Vorboy had to spend a ton of mana to do that, um, but did so
Well,
happily.
here's my question: am I looking at this incorrectly? Should he have not made a cop? Oh, he gets non-legendary. Oh, that's
I know,
right.
right? Yeah, it's a bummer.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
A
yeah.
copy of
Okay.
Hanada would have been very helpful there.
Swings? Wow. Wow. Okay.
A Dragon's
Sure.
Fire on one of the cats is going to
And I don't know
keep
why
him
he swung with
alive.
the Jaspara, to be honest. Maybe he to force the block there. Yeah. I mean, okay. Still okay. Now that I wouldn't say that Boone has stabilized, particularly if he keeps drawing lands like that. But It's getting better. I mean, I would say last turn I would have said Vorboy has this in the bank, but
Hmm.
now that he's got some bodies on the board and an Otawara to blink Asikas as soon as it activates, now it might be swinging back towards Big Goon's favor
Yeah, potentially. The problem
because
is
now,
all of these answers for Asika's Chariot are all temporary. You
yeah,
know,
exactly. And then
yeah,
and then you give it that ETB, and again, a card that was corrected, I'll say,
yeah.
in with Alchemy, removed it, dropped it from two twos. Okay,
Wow. All
going
right, that's
for
a
it,
statement right there.
going to open blue mana. I love it. I love this. This is great. This is a fantastic. I'm so glad this is the final here. This is a great back and forth.
Absolutely. So
I
I have a
was
feeling
gonna
the
say,
Bank Buster's probably going to get iced. Or no, Kiki Jiki's an enchantment. Ouch.
oh, that's right. That's right.
Yep.
And another thing that you have to kind of remember sometimes when Kiki-Jiki flips, um, it people will look at it and think it's a token, and if you're playing black, and you have and you like Explorer and the other formats, you might think, "Oh, I can get it with Fatal Push." No, its CMC is of the enchantment, if I'm not
Yep. Yeah,
mistaken.
it
So
has it has it has mana value 3. Yep,
it has
exactly.
mana value 3, and so, it no longer you look at and the first token, of course, you can hit that with a Fatal Push or something like that, but
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's an enchantment because it flips. The Saga flips, and it's actually a 3 CMC creature now.
So I think what Goon is debating here is to whether or not to create a copy of the pilot to have just another chump blocker online, or to spend, well, yeah, or to spend Otawara to bounce Kiki Jiki. Of course, bouncing Kiki Jiki would be lethal because then the three cats attack in.
Mhm.
One of them would connect. Oh, and the Rhino can crew the chariot.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
and
no.
guess what? You're making a token of the Rhino now.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's that.
Saw the line
Wow.
there. Two titans here swinging away. This is Mayweather and Pacquiao all over again. There's two titans of uh, exchanging blows. There was a point there where I saw Big Goon kind of stabilize, and I was pretty convinced he'd be able to bring it back. But then had some unfortunate top decking there. Did draw a bunch of lands in a row. The fact that he, and as I was mentioning earlier, like tournament decks versus ladder decks, the fact that he has no way to combat go wide, right?
Hmm.
And is really going to be the downfall, I think, of Jeskai Hinata. So it's the right deck to choose in a tournament where you're going to face similar opponents who are also running counter heavy control, and really your only job is to resolve a gold span and swing in. But if you have an opponent like we've seen here, Vorboy is able to go wide and create just a million little tutus,
Hmm.
and all of your answers are single removal, you don't stand a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's one of the things that makes the Asika's chariot just so powerful. And it's very clear that, this Jeskai Hanada list is not designed to
No,
combat an Asika's chariot. I mean, yes, you can hit it with negates. Yes, you can hit it with make disappears. Those generic counters, yeah, sure, they work. But we don't see we don't see a braid in here. We don't see any kind of like cinderclasm style effects to get rid of all those cats. There's nothing to deal with a board this wide. Um,
yeah,
and a Seeker's Chariot can single-handedly give you a wide board on one card, which
yeah.
you don't see that very often. That's part of that's the reason it's such a popular card, or was at least. Um, and Vorboy, they're kind of making a statement, letting everybody know, hey, don't sleep on the chariot. It's still here. It's
Yeah, and the other thing was hard casting Titan
mhm.
into open blue mana. I love that. That
It was
is
gutsy for sure. It was
I
yeah,
love
no,
it.
I'm going for the win. I'm doing it right now. Yeah.
hmm Does he have
Uh,
Jasparda? He has it again. We didn't see
Wow.
Magda last game, so if he's able to resolve now, he's on the draw here since he won last game. So even if he does go, okay, I like this. Okay, goes pre-combat, so he may not have the Magda then, right? Because if he did, he could resolve and then okay.
There's down to the bugbear.
He had the red mana too. He either doesn't have it or he's playing around Jawari here
Yep.
and is just gonna roll out another land before he attempts to resolve Magda to guarantee it sticks.
Yeah, because uh Warby's not aware of a Big Moon Spikefield hazard that
Exactly.
has Magda's name written all over it.
Right. Because he can, well, the thing is this, it's not a mana ability, so I don't know if like say he resolves and then in response to him tapping it with Jaspara, he can respond with Spike Field, right? It's not a mana ability, right?
I believe Jaspar's ability is considered a mana ability, actually.
Okay.
So I don't know that. Yeah, I don't believe it would go on the stack.
Okay.
So the
Oh,
treasure
right.
would be
Right, right,
around.
right, right. Yeah. In order to do, yeah.
Yeah, because Reckless Stormseeker, soaking up the
That's
Jawari
right.
Disruption.
This is a repeat of last game. That exact
Mm-hmm.
line, this exact line occurred last game, actually. A Jawari on turn 3 to get rid of the storm. Expressive is good here. Now, does this open him up? This is the exact scenario we had last game, where on turn 4, he sees. Now, this time, though, he has 3 open mana, which is really dangerous. Not going to be able to slam Asika's here.
Yeah, and Big Goon is not going to go shields down again, with 4 mana around. That is not going to happen again. Let's
Does he have
see.
another
Okay.
storm? Another Jaspara, sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Gives him the okay.
That sneakily gives him a 5th mana there. Here comes Hinata. Let's see. Does Vorobey have a counter of their own?
Does he have a counter? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's the
suspect he does.
question.
Oh!
Staple Stroke. There it is.
Whoa. Okay, he can Jawari, and he chooses not to Jawari.
Well, there's a Den of the Bugbear untapped over there.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. I must have
No
zoned
worries.
in on the bottom here. Okay, so he did have the den open.
Yep, the Den was open. So
Okay.
yeah, even a Jawari
Okay.
wouldn't have done the job there. Wow, that was a key disdainful stroke.
Imagine the team or player out controlling the Jeskai player.
Yeah, that's a bad feel.
And another thing that may become relevant later, if Big Goon does slam a Goldspan or either of the Flyers, Hinata or Goldspan, is both of those Jasparas also have reach.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Ouch.
Oh my god, he's gonna do it again. Oh my gosh.
Wow, there's the Asika's Chariot. Now, Valorous Stance can destroy the chariot once it becomes a creature. So that's something. But
I mean, you're right. Again, this is that go wide. Jeskai has no answer for go wide.
Yeah, that puts 4 power on the board. Notably, the other Jaspar Sentinel staying back.
Yeah. He's got a counter in hand. I can nearly guarantee. Does he have another disdainful stroke? Or excuse me, does he have another?
Yeah, I mean, a disdainful stroke would do the job. Let's see. Is there another counterspell?
Okay, there is not.
No, okay.
There's not. Okay, it goes land. Okay, so okay. Has the Valorous, we'll have to burn a treasure for it, but I'm sure he doesn't care.
Okay.
More interested in doesn't obviously attempts to accrue here and gets in. Do you tap both? No. Okay, you have the cats. Yeah.
Yeah.
A beautiful Maine Coon, by the way. I must mention. I don't know if you're a pet owner yourself.
I do have a cat. Yes.
Those cat tokens are gorgeous. A big fluffy Maine Coon.
Love it.
Okay, that's
awesome.
fine. Slowly exhausting Big Goon's resources here. The Jawari becoming, as we mentioned, increasingly less valuable. Land for turn. It is the activated land. Voltaic Surge is pretty good there.
Yep.
Wow, okay, so he sees that it's no longer much value either, so plays it as a land. Doesn't have any activated lands of his own, Big Goon does, but obviously has the magma there.
Yeah, the magma opens in hand with Hinata on the field. That's a pretty good spot to be in.
Yeah.
That said,
does he activate the Hydra here?
That's a good question. I'm also noticing that 7 land down for Vorobey is are we looking at another Titan situation potentially?
Whoa, okay.
Ouch.
Oh
okay.
Man. Look at this. Look at this. Plays it into what is that? 7 open blue mana.
Yeah.
The cojones on Vorboy. That's twice now that he's with nothing to cover. Sure. Taps them. Sure.
Comes down, but Magma Opus is going to draw 2 cards, one of which might be a counterspell. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The draw 2 is really gnarly.
Right? Oh yeah. That's
okay.
Nope.
That's fine.
No luck.
Takes
I mean,
that. No,
that's said that was a 3 mana Magma Opus, so it's not bad by any means, but
Fabled is great here.
Yep.
Start with EI. That's the right move. All right, grab the Hall. What I do, I go Goldspan hand, play the Hall. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Yeah.
Slam that. Yep. They're down. Not that it really matters. Okay, now he's got to finally. I think it's the first time in the game that we've seen Big Goon even attack.
Yep.
Okay, so
No,
has to burn
I
both
think you're right.
treasures. Interesting.
Okay.
Why would?
I don't know why
Okay.
the need.
I
Yeah,
don't
needed
know.
to auto tap that, but
I guess you know what? Maybe it's just a guarantee that the shuffler or the shuffler, excuse me, the
yeah, the auto
application doesn't
tapper
like.
doesn't
Oh
like.
yeah, you wanted white mana, didn't or whatever.
That's fair. I get it. Yeah, no, I've been
That's probably
I've
right.
been on the receiving end of a couple of decisions the shufflers made that I was not fond of. So I think, yeah, I think we can all understand that.
Big Oon has an amazing board state here, but no cards in hand. But the thing is, with Fabled, he's able to shuffle away that Storm in order to grab something other than a land. He's tapped down, so if Vorobey does have anything, if he has a Titan or anything, now's the time.
Yep. And I think that hesitation is a good indicator that there is not a Titan in that hand, because I think it would have gotten ripped pretty hard.
For sure.
Yeah. Here comes Magda. A
Magda's
little late to the party, but better late than never.
yeah, that'd have been good turn 2. Not right
Yep.
now.
Oh, or if there were other treasures on the field right now for her to work with.
Oh my god,
That'd be fine
another
too.
Fabled. Gets to see more cards.
Yep.
Oh no, there's a
Oh,
Dragon's
and
Fire.
a
Okay,
Dragon's
so
Fire that can get rid of the Reacher. Yep, that's
I think we're gonna see another game 3 here.
I think you're right. So in this situation, the Asika's Chariot showed up, but Big Goon did a good job of mitigating it and getting it out of here. And those Valorous stances coming in from the sideboard. Big deal. This turned out to be a big deal. So it looks like the Lair of the Hydra is going to become a 3/3 here to block the Goblin. Or to pull that Dragonfire out of Big Goon's hand, more likely.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a desperation activation. I personally, it doesn't really do you much here. I mean, even if you do connect, the swing back is going to be so well. Because you got to think that he's going to have removal, and you'd prefer to have your lair open for more of a lethal threat. But I don't know. I always, for some reason, by the way, think Magda has first strike. I don't know why that is.
As a 2/1, that would kind of make sense, because you think of like Thalia. Yeah.
I'm thinking of it's one of my favorite sideboard cards for red that doesn't see a ton of play. Cemetery.
The Gatekeeper?
Yeah.
Gatekeeper? Yeah, that card's awesome.
It's so good. Because it's playing that card, it's kind of like obviously we don't have Eidolon here in Arena, but if you play Burn on Modern, it's kind of like Eidolon concept where you take 2 damage, and it's great against if your opponent stacks up a bunch of cheap cards. So we're going to game 3 here. Wow. I'll tell you what, when we saw the Asika resolve the second time, I thought it was over.
Yeah, me too.
But the timely Valorous stance allowed him to stabilize afterward, and then just the value of Goldspan took over there. Also, that pocket magma was pretty brutal too.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Big Goon was a little on the back foot early, but they stabilized beautifully and were able to come back and finish it out. I mean, is Goldspan Dragon not one of the strongest just cards in Standard right now? I mean,
yeah, and
it's gotta be, right?
I'd say without a doubt it's the best creature.
Okay. Yep.
Titan of Industry is right there, right? And that's why you're seeing the Timor deck. It literally the only 7 creatures it ran were 3 Titans and 4 Goldspans. So
it's all you need.
There's evidence of it right there, and that was in our top 8. And then for overall, it's definitely in the running. I mean, just as a spell, period. It's tough. So by the way, I would say third game in a row that Vorobey has top decked the Jaspara. Had to mull all the way down to 5 though, I think.
Yeah, which is not ideal.
Not ideal. Does he have the magma to back it up? Finally.
There it is. We're finally seeing the 1/2.
Yeah.
Sentinel Magma combo. Let's go.
Okay, now how do you capitalize? Because opponent is going to hold up Disdainful Stroke, because the line here is he can make he can tap it with Jaspara, make a mana of any color. Magda then poops out a treasure, right? And then if you play a land for turn, now your Goldspan turn 3, right?
Yep, that's accurate.
That's the line. So and that's what the deck wants to do. But he has to also understand if that's the number of resources that he has, opponent can have, and he has both the Disdainful Stroke and Jawari. So he has options here for counter. Disdainful will hit Esika or a Gold Span, which he does not want to see. Okay, gonna go with the attack here, understanding the opponent has surprised. I'm actually surprised that Big Goon didn't Dragonfire pre-combat. Giving him that extra treasure may not have been great, but I
Yeah,
guess
I
we'll
can appreciate
see.
waiting until the end step though, because in the post combat there could have been Nasika's Chariot. So I can understand I can understand that. But yeah, at this point, Disdainful Stroke is already relevant. You just played out your third land and you're looking to counter,
Yeah, this
a
is.
5-drop from your opponent. That's
I think Big Goon might have this
yeah.
here. If Vorboy can't resolve Asika, wow, and the lands keep coming. He's got expressive good discipline on Big Goon to not
Mhm.
roll out, because I'll tell you what I would have done is I would have gone expressive and then still hold up the disdainful. But to have Prismari or disdainful option, I guess, is the reason that he went with this. He could
Yep.
also Prismari at the end of Vorboy's turn.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, we're talking about the Big Goon's
There it is.
patience here. And this is a great example of why you and I aren't control players, because I'm right there with you. I would, I have a 4-drop in my hand. I have 4 mana. Just run it out. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like I would have just windmill slammed Hinata straight into removal and felt salty. But Big Goon is
Even
doing a great job of just holding back, making sure that they're only casting spells that also allow them to keep counters up. And so at this point, there is just this invisible barrier that Vorboy has to get through that is that open mana.
mhm.
And that's a tough spot to be in, because you
Unfortunately,
need to,
yeah,
so Vorboy knows Big Goon has, in this case, 3 open mana, 2 of which can be blue, and 4 cards in hand. At least one of those is a counter spell. Like
right.
you have to.
Oh, wow. Ditches 2
Wow.
lands and gets 2 lands. He'll probably find one here, though. There's a Magma. Jeez, okay. Does he play it as a okay, goes back in there. Play the land for turn, and there's another Hinata. Okay, he doesn't know. This is your chance. 1 mana. Does he
Yep.
have does he have a Sika plus, or does he have another removal? He used the Voltaic to knock out the previous Hinata. Wow.
Plummet.
Oh, Plummet.
Wow.
Oh
That's a
my
classic
gosh.
sideboard card right there.
That's a jeez. Okay, sure.
All right. Yeah,
I
what do you
mean,
do?
yeah, I mean, sure. He has no idea. The thing is this, Vorboy has already been brutally countered there, and on one of his attempts at a gold span, it's possible that he doesn't want to be victim to that again. Um,
Mhm.
even though he has no idea Big Goon doesn't have it. That's the right move there. Don't allow Kiki Jiki to don't allow your opponent to untap with a summoning sickness removed Kiki Jiki.
Oh yeah.
That's a bad. Okay, taps the. Okay, sure. 4 damage face makes a 4/4 draws 2. Still tap down. This is the end of his turn, by the
Yeah,
way.
this is the end of Big Goon's turn. This is an
Why do you
interesting
think he's
choice.
doing this?
I'm not sure what the benefit of doing that is.
Right.
Because even if Goon drew into counter spells,
Doesn't have the
um,
mana for it.
doesn't have a mana for it. Yeah.
I I guess maybe he thought that Vorboy is holding up counter as well, and he
Oh,
wanted to
sure. So
make
take
sure.
advantage of that
But
window.
even then
Makes sense.
but even then, I'm still kind of like, I don't know. Gonna get in for 4 here. Those tokens, again, 4/4 token is a nuisance. Really tough
Absolutely.
to deal with. Another Fable, gonna see some more cards.
And there are more lands to dump to it. So just gonna sit tight on those.
Ditchwick he's seen so many cards. The thing is, with between EI and Fable, you see so many cards, and that phrase that's frequently used. Oh wow, gonna roll it out. Nice.
Okay.
I bet you he's stunned that was actually resolved.
Right? Yeah.
Now do you swing with both? I don't know. Sure.
Why not? Yeah, exactly. At this point, you might as well. Oh no,
Oh really? I don't know.
keeping the shaman back. Okay.
Sure. He could have also blocked and then used the spike field to kill it.
That was an option. Yes.
This is very strange. He's gonna have to draw in another bomb here, and there it is. I was about to say he's seen so many cards at this point. Yeah, that's the value. See, the reason that we saw brainstorming, it was in Mystical Archive, and it made its way into Historic, and then it was immediately, it was suspended and then banned, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that, yeah, but it was around for a couple weeks where they gave it a shot.
Yeah.
You know, there were some like Source to Plowshares. They were just like, no, you don't get this one. I'm like, oh, come on, guys. Why not? Look,
I always love how, and this is my, you could probably tell my prejudice against blue is blue gets. We didn't even get Lightning Bolt, Swords to Plowshare,
Yep.
Dark Ritual. You know, all the other colors, all the like cheap one cost interaction spells was like way too powerful. Oh, but Brainstorm, the most powerful scry and draw card available. Yeah, it's blue. So blue.
That's fine. Yeah, give me this.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's
and
wrong with that?
Time Warp was in the Mystical
And
Archives
Time
too.
Warp, for God's
Yeah.
sake. That's what so look, some of you might say, OhOneNine, you're constantly prejudiced against blue. What's your deal? What's your vendetta against blue players? It's stuff like this. Wizards gave them a nicely timed disdainful
Yeah,
card, but he is
beautifully timed disdainful
empty-handed.
stroke.
Empty-handed. Vorobey looking at doesn't know it, but he has another pocket Hinata to recover. I'm not sure what he could pull on the top here. Doesn't have enough. If he pulls a Titan, he can't play it.
Yep. I mean, Goldspan is really the best case
Goldspan's
scenario.
it. He's got the double red for it. But yeah, the the fact that they were given Time Warp and Brainstorm and just kind of shrugged, like, yeah, what could go wrong?
Yeah, turns out a lot, and it did. Yeah, yeah. No, so that had to get yeah, they needed to course correct there. Oh, and Memory Lapse also got banned.
Oh, and Memory Lapse, of course.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's just put that in there too. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, but we can't have Lightning Bolt, of course not.
Can't have Lightning Bolt. Can't have Dark Ritual.
Yep.
Can't have,
those are ridiculous. Far too powerful.
Can't even have Giant Growth, for God's sake. They have the other one cost spell. I think that we're looking at a GG here.
Yep. This is looking like Goon is going to take it down.
All right. So despite how convincing Vorobey was in game one with the go wide tactic of Isika, maybe it was just his draws. Maybe just it got outvalued here. Reflection to make a token of the 4/4, and we're swinging for 12 damage.
Yep.
I think that might be a good game.
You know, speaking of one cost spells that I think would be too good for older formats that I really want to see on this client, where's Fog?
Where is Fog?
I'm just saying, Vorobey really wish they had a Fog in hand right there. That would have been nice.
There you have it.
Yep. But yeah, so that's the phenomenal play by all of our competitors here today. I have to say congratulations to Big Goon for taking it down. Turns out Jeskai Hinata, yep, it's one of those popular decks in Standard for good reason.
What an exciting finish to such a grindy event. We had so many big plays, so many haymakers all around. Congratulations to Big Goon for taking down the event with Jeskai Hinata going undefeated 9-0 today. Congratulations, and congrats as well to our second place competitor and the rest of our top 8 as well. Big shout outs to Hamhocks42 and OhOneNine with the fantastic coverage of the top 8. And I want to thank you, the viewer, for making it this far into the video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a comment down below of what you enjoyed about the tournament. Or if you'd like to sign up for any of our tournaments, we have 3 a month. They're all free to play. All these links in the description down below. Stay cheesy.